All right, guys, we're back. We got some sweet news. Maybe it's not going to be a 10-minute break, or maybe we're being super bamboozled right now. Because we are getting the music kicking in, and herO looks like he's ready to play. He's got the jitters. He's excited. I guess they're. Oh, is this how they do vetoes? Like with a clipboard?
Yeah, I guess so. Running back and forth between the players.
Old school vetoes are old school, man. All right, let's go full screen, I guess, and see how this plays out. Yeah. He's got such a happy smile on his face.
Playing with friends.
The thing is, that's literally what's happening. Like, a lot of people kind of, I guess maybe you're fans of the Koreans, but you don't know much about them. And the thing is, I didn't know this for the longest time either. They're all very close, is the thing. It's not just like these are a couple of friends who kind of know each other. Like, look at it. They're trading some cheeky looks and smiles. Like, these guys are all super duper bros.
Yeah. Maybe they're talking about the last time these guys faced each other, where ByuN ended up taking the 2-1. Talking about how lucky ByuN got and how OP Terran is. Probably.
Well, the Cactus Valley intro is pretty hype, and again, it's TvP here for the final match of the day. Some guy on YouTube got really upset that we refer to these as the finals, but the thing is, like, it is the finals because it's the last game played of the day, and the winner of this will go on alongside ByuN out of the group. So, kind of terrible timing for these intros. Bottom left, it's ByuN.
In the top left, it was herO.
Yeah, it was herO. This is what I wanted to get into. This is what I wanted to talk about because herO has played incredibly cheesy versus Terran, and whether it's a proxy Stargate or something really weird and out of the ordinary, the point is it catches most Terran off guard. But ByuN has played against herO a lot in the BTSL and the Elima League, you name it. Both these guys actually recently lost their monthly final slot due to the no-show effect of the 10 group, but the point was they both played enough weeklies and fought each other enough times like to get to the monthly finals in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I think herO's probe doesn't mean it's cheesy yet. It is scouting for the purposes of seeing if it's possible to. ByuN does command center first on this map sometimes, which you brought up last series. And while it is a good build, it doesn't do it all the time. It also does help out versus the pylon cheese. But it's not here.
It's my favorite build of his, though. And I actually like that he didn't do it because you brought that up. Like, herO's very likely to be the guy who will throw the pylon down, have the Adept of the Mothership Core speeding across the map and be annoying with it. So for that reason, and the fact that, again, there's many other reasons of cheese, it makes sense for ByuN not to do it. But against other prototypes, we watch him play against Zest, you watch him play against anybody. I like that build a lot better.
I think herO has a lot of other tricks besides the pylon Stargate Rush, too, which ByuN would expect and be very well prepared for, whatever build he chose to do. And it was just this decision of like, okay, what did he do? Where is he going to be weak? And then I can go for it. herO has had some amazing macro games versus ByuN, though. I mean, he did one macro game straight up. Well, technically, okay, so what's really weird about that game, that series, in the Elima League, was that he started the first game off by putting down a proxy, and then he proxied a robo. And it was very confusing. But he did end up going into a macro game beyond it, so even though it was like proxy, it was a macro game. So he does play macro against ByuN.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this one shapes up. Because the other question, too, is like, let's say it is macro then. What's the priority? Is it Storms? Is it Disruptors? Is it going to be Colossus? Like, what's he most comfortable doing? I was just going to bring up, though, this is a really hilarious emote if you scroll up in chat. Nexi Kuro does the Krendor fish, and I guess he's got like a fish line that's catching me with the AC. I find this particularly hilarious, though, not just because of the actual emotes, but I've heard of Krendor. I had never seen a stream of his before in my life. I watched him doing commentary with a couple of his buddies on the Power Ranger stream. Fell in love with the guy immediately. Hilarious. Tweeted at him, letting him know that I enjoyed it, and he followed me back on Twitter. I'm like, this guy's massive.
Feels good. Feels
really cool, man. It's just amazing that his emoticons combo so well with mine.
It's meant to be.
It's meant to be, dude. It's meant to be. Anyways, ByuN's not going to be able to get in there and get 4 probe kills again, much less 7.
herO was very prepared for this. This is also something that, of course, ByuN does and did. So herO saw it happen versus Creator. herO having the slightest of edges in the series because he just witnessed ByuN's TvP. And like what exactly, I mean, exactly on this map too. So it was really nice.
Oh, what's going on with bets? Did we just pay out bets already?
No, those were old bets. Like the bets from last year's weren't paid out. So
Okay. I had a moment where I'm like, oh no, who did it? Like we haven't had a mess up in so long. We've been doing so good.
No, it does mean that the bets right now, I guess, are gonna be a little.
I'd say just let them run. Whatever. It's one game. It could go either direction. It's the finals of the group. I mean, the thing is, it's a best of 3, where both ByuN and herO could easily 2-0 each other, or they could both easily come back and win a reverse all kill, like go down 0-1 and then come back 2-0. So open the bets, guys. Do it. Do it up. Do it up.
They're on it. Just saying that it is a little bit like more delayed than they usually do.
Krender's a
it's
boss.
gonna be.
Sorry, go on. I got distracted by chat.
It's gonna be Phoenix, but not into Adept with Resident Glaives. It is going to be into the Robotics Bay. So Colossus it is. Oh, ByuN supply blocked. Oh, what's happening?
He's slipping.
Yeah, obviously. He just finished supply depots, but that was like 5 seconds. Come on. Medevac's going out.
Zombie Gov expects more of you, ByuN.
Exactly.
When are you gonna create again?
May 31st.
And go scold him in person.
Expect me on this date.
Anyways, you're going on a date?
Hey, I wish. I'm sure he'd take me to no wait, he doesn't like alcohol, does he? Well, he'll take me to chicken. He doesn't have any beer. Take me to chicken.
Did ByuN screw up his wall at the front, by the way?
It should have been 3 so body was long, so yes, but you know, as long as it happens. Don't criticize him.
No, I was actually curious because it seemed silly, but Medevac's getting caught, it's a bit rough, and he's not even gonna be able to kill the Phoenix for it, so just gonna keep bleeding out things like Widow Mines. Oh, this is rough. This is painful.
This is so good by herO though.
Absolutely.
On the flip side. Loses a Phoenix, but it looks like that's the only Phoenix that's going to go down. Even the Viking not going to be able to get the last couple of shots, and this is just straight up good. His third base is going to be under a lot less pressure. Well, really not his third base, but the natural to third base. That's always going to be the contention point on Cactus Valley, but you know the point is the third base is going to get up and running, and he will have maybe even 2 Colossus by the time ByuN feels really comfortable moving in. He might push out, and the Observer sees that, but will he feel comfortable moving in? I don't think so. He just lost a large portion of his units.
Yeah. The worst part is like it's like this again, where it's things like Widow Mines getting picked up. It's the things he actually really needs on the front. Like you bleed out a couple Marines, who cares? But those Widow Mines get 1 or 2 miracle shots, and you can win the game. So these are great pickoffs out of herO and unfortunate pickoffs for ByuN.
He does miss the opportunity to force field in that area I was talking about, but even like the Blitz looks super scary on the third base, and the Phoenixes are destroyed before they can help out. Well, I guess he's gonna get the Nexus. His Blitz ends up working if he can get out of there.
I didn't think that would actually be able to run through and get the base.
It wasn't supposed to. I guaranteed it wasn't supposed to, and at the very least, the army was supposed to die for it because the Phoenixes were supposed to be kept alive, but they were caught going way too far forward, or rather the ground army was caught being way too far behind. Either way that you look at it, that was not how that was supposed to go down, and ByuN brings it back, helps the situation out a lot.
All right, well, you know what? If you got to bleed out like 4 or 5 Widow Mines on the front lines, you don't even kill that base most of the time, so losses up to this point are suddenly made acceptable. It's cool to see the Void Ray coming up behind this for herO, though. The Void Ray is not going to do a lot against, say, the Widow Mines or the Marines, but it will tear through Vikings. It'll rip apart a Liberator, and, of course, even chase down those Medevacs.
It's also going to be, like, with the Overcharge, whatever the hell it's called. Prismatic Alignment, there we go. It's going to be able to rip through those Medevacs when you no longer have 5 Phoenixes to do that for it. So if it finds it in a good position anyways. The Void Ray is coming on the front lines. herO's trying to use his Colossus advantage because there's only 3 Vikings. The Vikings coming out here. It looks like a Widow. Oh no, Liberator. I didn't go clean it up.
Double Liberator is going to be really nice.
Really nice. This stops herO from advancing forward when he did have a bit of a tech advantage with the Colossus number that he had against the Viking count.
This cuts his income down to like less than 200 minerals per minute for about like 40 seconds. I mean, ByuN's meanwhile mining like close to 2k. This is huge. That denial was big. Didn't even matter that it didn't kill a lot of probes. Just the lost mining was already painful enough. But yo, Zombie Grub, do you remember the cast this morning?
The one we're on right now?
Yesterday morning? Can you set me up for this? Hang on.
Yes, I do.
BC Cutie just up for 9 months in a row to say what keeps me up at night is wondering why was there never an orange Power Ranger? Well, that's because nobody could rhyme anything with orange, but I can.
No, you can't. What rhymes with orange?
No, it doesn't. I love that moment. That wasn't even the joke. It was just like you kind of. Oh no, I forgot my line already. Like the whole line thing yesterday.
I like remembered it, but I was worried that it wasn't it. Like I misremembered, so I was very hesitant.
Thank you. You joke wingman to me very well. I appreciate it. That was well done.
I don't know about very well. It's like a 2 out of 10, but let's pretend. Hey.
We almost have a bit. I'm proud of us.
God. Disruptor's on the way out. Here does not go up to 4 or 5 Colossus.
This is taking them way too long to clean up this Adept, by the way. It's getting like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 SCV kills.
2 SCVs surprisingly don't kill an Adept that fast. Did you know that?
Today I learned.
Oh, that is quite a few Vikings this time, however. herO, oh, I love this. He lose hits a couple of Colossus. Well, the scan went down on it. There's still a chance that, yeah, exactly, like half the Viking shots just got that Colossus.
Yeah, they end up wasting it. But while he starts chasing really far away, the further he gets away from the Colossus, the greater chance ByuN is just going to churn around and use those Marauders to smash the Stalkers to bits. There's not that much anti-air left right now.
So the Disruptor was going to try and keep him alive. Upgrades are even, last time I checked, but herO does have +2 armor on the way. He has been denied mining, but well, I mean, he got 7 SCVs with 10 probes went down, so a bit more of an even trade. Oh, the drop in the main is not seen at all. Oh, no.
Thank you, Geldorn, for that tip, by the way. Much appreciated. The overcharges are going to go off. I love that he didn't waste one on the pylon that was already dead, but they all die so quickly because of some Marauders. Right side of the map, too, also has got all those Vikings still standing, looking to take out the Colossus, but that Void Ray approaching is the most scary thing, as it can level the entire playing field.
Plus, you know, Colossus go down now, and that's great. Oh, okay, that's a bit
Oh, if he gets Resonating Glaives, this is a really big pick-off.
He needs that. I was just going to talk about how Colossus going down, maybe not so important anymore. He's managed to get to a really good army count with Disruptors. That's still that splash, but it's going to be gateway units from here on out. Really, you know, his buffer is his main army. And without Resonating Glaives, the Adepts are suddenly, well, not as intimidating, even though they have +2 armor.
Stimson at the base, the probes are pulled, but that third Nexus is going to go down again. This has prompted herO to kind of base trade this out and force himself all in on the other side of the map. But ByuN lifts up the third. He evacuates the SCVs. He pulls everything back to his main.
There's so much army right there. Like, ByuN didn't go back in his main base with his army. Oh, well. The Liberator's going to help protect, but the Void Rays could probably get him.
Void Ray.
Reach!
No.
Ah!
Vikings come out, new Liberators on the front line. I think he'll stall out enough, and he's even bringing the army back home. So we got an army down here to the south. We got an army coming from the backside for a 3-pronged potential attack.
Yeah, I wish they had gotten the one that's to the south. The army was you know, all types of cornered, but decided to go for the natural instead. The attack coming back is not committing, however, nor did it didn't kill the third base. I don't know how that happened. Liberators are what is, you know, ByuN is depending on to hold on here. Supply depots go down. It might just be worth running past the Liberators, but they're still up.
This base didn't actually die. Oh.
Yeah, bad timing on the probe server. Good thing they were pulled away. At least save those for long as it's mining later. This army will go down very easily to even just gateway units, as it's very low on health. But puts this game into an awkward position.
But this is still better for ByuN, because keep in mind, that third got lifted. He's going to have that landed back down soon, I imagine. Move that back over. And he's got enough SCVs plus mules to saturate that base up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I do give it to ByuN as well.
I really wish
he has even better upgrades now.
I wish he like ninja and medevac across the map. Go heal those units. Top right, they're all stimmed to death. Feels bad.
There's so many things that are still That hero is still like feeling from the early game, or the mid game rather. 2-1 versus 2-2. Only 2 disruptors. It's not looking so great for herO, but those disruptors get a couple of shots. Some of ByuN's army supply is kind of useless with the Vikings, especially if they don't land. And he doesn't have a lot of medevacs, so every stim would hurt. But man, the third base only just goes down. ByuN still has another pocket army that can run in and kill it. And yeah, that Resonant Glaives, like I thought, had never finished.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for herO. There's a big snipe out of ByuN, but as the game progresses now, I mean, both players are getting back towards their thirds. I think the difference is that ByuN being able to lift up that main, being able to lift up the natural, and sort of skip frog over to a fourth base. That's going to be a big deal.
DTs, very good choice. 2 minutes to bring this game back. 1 disruptors, the other 1 DTs. And since ByuN hasn't had to worry about them up until this point, and there's been so much chaos, he might not remember to worry about them. A single adept trying to tear the missile turret might come back to haunt ByuN if you let it die.
Well, let's hope not. At least if you're cheering for ByuN.
True, that's what you're cheering for. ByuN's army is starting to get really rounded out here. More Liberators, finally getting added more medevacs, so the bio can't be risked to just stim to death. I mean, the disruptors doesn't matter what health the army is. But can they get those really good shots?
One shot's a one shot at the end of the day. He's done a pretty good job dodging. I mean, he's bleeding out some Marauders, which kind of sucks, but there's so many Liberators. You know, the thing for me is ByuN, if you really want to lock this down, get Liberator range.
Yeah, I think that would. I think Liberators would just lock this game down 100%. Whether it's just so many of them or some with range. He's okay. He's pushed up the third, but not for. They didn't actually kill the army. They could always stim in and get it.
This is so well set up, though. Everything's gonna melt. Anything that walks into these liberation zones is just gonna die.
The DTs cleaned up the army to the left side. The disruptors cleaned up the army to the right side, though, and there's not really a bio army anymore. At least not on the front lines. It's coming and reinforcing now, but that was a mistake. This game was so late.
Well, speaking of mistakes, he like walked his army through the
There
shadow of the Valley of Death.
This is the way to bring it back. And unfortunately, herO did lose those DTs that had done such a great job. Would have been great had they been around the bases to try and harass. But it looks like 1 DT is taking care of the 4th, or an adept or something.
Yeah, something's down there.
Liberator's still a problem.
Well, the disruptors walk into the Liberators, so that just goes about as badly as it could in that regard. But the Stalkers are still standing. They might just be able to clean up the Liberators.
Nah, I don't think so. There's a little bio left over.
New Marauders coming too is going to guarantee like that's not going to be the case. So, ByuN.
Yeah.
Game number 1.
herO played a very good game, though.
Oh, he did. And I really... that first Nexus snipe, it was so just uncharacteristic to have that happen. But I was just going to mention, I love that ByuN up 1 to herO, who's at 0. Hey. I'll be right back 1 second.
Okay. Well, the next map, I guess, still to be shown. We don't know anything. You do know that herO is able to get into a really good position. Maybe you can do it again. Hold on, maybe I can read it. Oh no, it's in Korean.
Sorry, it's so warm in here. I had to go step outside.
Newkirk. Except it's spelled New Crick. New Crick Precinct.
New Crick Precinct. Awkward.
I'm sure most people wouldn't notice.
Awkward.
I guess specialize.
What do your elf eyes see?
They see misspells all the time. What was that Protoss thinking about moving into that army?
It was like, you know what? I want to... They didn't even have extended thermal lance. So the very question is, why are you pushing without extended thermal lance?
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, missed one of the intros. It's ByuN over here though.
Always gonna be the awkward one. Bottom left, it was the red Protoss herO.
Yeah, I guess the intros are not. So someone actually brought this up the other day while we were casting. Like, why do they do intros? Like, it's kind of cringy, it's kind of awkward, and blah blah blah. And I guess it really is just almost like a formal thing to do in StarCraft. Like when you meet somebody, you shake their hand. Do you need to? No, but it's like the steps you go through. And I feel like that's kind of just with StarCraft evolving this way. People like Artosis and Tasteless setting the standard. Other games they don't do it, and I totally understand, especially when you got like 6 people to intro on each team and things like that. But StarCraft, it's always just going to be that quick little hi, hello, how are you?
The Koreans definitely set it up, but it's really funny though. Everyone thinks the Koreans, well, they're not wrong, but the Koreans aren't always super hype. In fact, a lot of their intros really are just in the bottom right. It's herO, but in Korean, obviously. Like they are that casual about it.
I like to sell it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, if it's a hype match, of course, you'll hear the Koreans do the whole like long, drawn-out intro, but it's most of the time it's not a big deal. But it's something like In Control's brought up too, like why do I need to do it? Like they know who they are. For me, it's kind of like the handshake, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, when sportscasters have to constantly repeat the score. And it's not because the guys, people who are watching the game can't see that it's 7-0. It's for the people who are listening on the radio, just tuning in, can check up on it. So, not that anyone listens to StarCraft 2 cast on the radio, but I know some people are working while they do it. Some people still don't know to look at the score. They don't know where their opponents are, and all that jazz. Once upon a time, they even had, like, who was where on the overlay. They had T6 and
Oh,
T12.
yeah, like the clock positions and stuff. I remember I was so confused. I'd tune in, like, this is back, like, when Day 9 would do stuff, right? Like, those days. And I'd be like, what do those numbers possibly mean? Like, it's not intuitive that those are spawn locations. Yeah,
it wasn't, I agree, but it was what they did for 10 years during Brood War. I think they stopped even for the Brood War cast too, but to be honest, I haven't looked. Anyway, looks like herO is going to go for the old standard. He did such great early game damage last game with his Phoenixes. It wasn't cheese, it was just, him catching ByuN out of position, and then it just backfired. Let's see what happens here. It is the full committal. It's got that Stargate and everything.
Well, it's annoying to deal with. And I would say 9 times out of 10, this at least gets both the depots. Sometimes can even kill the reactor. That's going to be a lot on SCV micro whether you keep that reactor alive or not. But the pylon will be easily dealt with when it's not overcharged. The cyclone can clean it up in a matter of seconds. Lock on to this Oracle. A couple Marines die for it, but ultimately he does keep herO back. But this has still not yet been cleaned up, so it's not like nice hold, ByuN. You did it.
Yeah, I mean it still does damage. It's just a question of do you panic? Do you lose SCVs in the natural? Does your natural get stalled out? God forbid. And none of that has happened. So, Void Ray follow up. Nexus just about done. ByuN is on his way to the medevac and Widowmine, and that's specifically what the Void Ray is going to want to kill. Pops at prismatic alignments, and the medevac doesn't immediately pull away, and it is a dead medevac.
Yeah. I gotta actually... The Cyclones, I really want to see what he does with them. If they are purely defensive, then ByuN's playing a little bit scared, but... He's done things where he's taken those in drops and taken them across the map, but he's done pretty good damage with them too. But right now, that's a gateway coming in on the right side of the map, and herO's not looking to give up on this. He really wants to go all in and brute. Like the best way I can describe it is he's brute forcing his way to game 3, or trying to at least.
Yeah. Doesn't look too suspicious getting a Reaper in there and seeing 2 additional gateways. It's that third one that's proxied that would have been really weird to see if it was in the main. 4 gauge is a little bit too much production. But ByuN doesn't know this is on the way. He doesn't have a bunker being built. He thinks that the aggression's over and done with, and all that he has to worry about is if he wants to drop, trying to avoid that Void Ray. It looks like he still wants to, but hasn't set up yet. But if he does, and the Void Ray kills it, and then he just doesn't have anything on the front lines, it could just be instantly tap out. I hope that herO remembers most Terrans are placing that Widowmine at the front nowadays. Hey, he does. Oh, yeah. That's the way to do it. Even bothers to kill it. Just to make sure that none of his reinforcements get hit by it. Just a bit too much of an army. I think he definitely wanted ByuN to try and go for that medevac drop. 8 less Marines would make this... I think a point at which the Adepts would shade in. Now that the tank is out, it's questionable. This is getting worse and worse as time goes on for herO. Ho! Got him. Vikings not even responding yet.
Well, I can see this also falling apart for ByuN. Like one bad engagement, one good prismatic alignment combo, right? Like, but I think that he should have this defense on lockdown. It really is. It's funny to say it, but it's on ByuN to lose this game.
Yeah. There's not much more he can do except just make sure his tank doesn't get one shot, which, I mean, is, both are the depths, I guess, but you really would just have to wait for herO to commit or not. It looks like herO isn't. He's getting a third base, getting a forge, getting a Twilight Council, but this is something that ByuN cannot scout and cannot quite determine just by seeing the Adepts constantly shade in. He'd really have to get eyes on the army or eyes literally on the third base.
Yeah, it sucks with no Widowmine drops going out, with no cancel. No ability to go for scans. Like, not knowing what hero's doing is scary.
Yeah. It really is. It's one of those points where you have to start worrying about over-defending and losing out in the macro game, which is exactly what herO is going to try and do. It's kind of on the same level of a contain, but it's like a mental contain, if you will. It's ByuN just taking the worst possible scenario and working against that as opposed to the option of herO not dedicating. He scans the natural. We'll see. Well, I mean, I'll see some important things. I'll see the tech is already thrown down and the gases are all down too, and that kind of tells you the third base will probably be on the way as well. If not the third base, at least some extreme tech. Point is, some type of transition. And he should be feeling more confident to push out as soon as Stim finishes, whereas maybe before he'd be a little hesitant.
Well, salvages the bunkers up.
Vikings looking for Mothership Core, or maybe the Void Ray if it wasn't with the army. Or War Prism that's coming out. Doesn't find anything.
It's been interesting watching more Void Rays being invested too, by the way, over time. Context for this is just Void Rays are... Oh, it doesn't have scouting in the third. That sucks. Nope. Void Rays are just incredibly expensive units that are not going to be incredibly good in this scenario. If there's a lot of tanks, or there's a lot of Vikings, or there's a lot of Liberators, things that are a threat to you that are armored, then I really like the choice of going Void Rays.
There are a couple of tanks, and ByuN is still producing them. He's also still on 2 bases, the third on the way, but this means like it is a 2-base tank push with your upgrades and +1.
Yeah, and we just got a new sub, by the way. Thank you for waking me up, Ms. Tings.
Mistings, or is it like you like Tang and you're the Mrs.
Jesse's girlfriend, Miss Tings.
Yeah, I didn't expect herO to move into this, and I don't think ByuN did either. His tanks weren't pre-sieged, his army is all types of disjointed.
This also let the Void Rays get away with a lot, and this kind of goes back to the whole thing where it's like it's kind of on ByuN to give this game away. But
Guardian Shield.
Guardian Shield's reducing a lot of damage from the Marines. The Void Ray took out a lot of the tanks before this fight began, and the longer he waits, like, that Void Ray is going to have its cooldown up again soon. Then just dives in for another tank.
A very scary situation. If he was set up like this before, then I think he holds. But now it's 40 supply down, 20 of which is an army. And his pressure can no longer be applied. War Prism comes in here. Might just try and end the game right here, right now. If there were Widowmines, I'd say don't do it. But without them, I think herO can finish the game.
Yeah, this Adept number. I mean, look at the army supply in general. I think it's over. He just tied it up, I'd say.
Yeah. SCV's trying to be cold, but it's like you said.
I mean, I really, it's so silly to consider. GG. It's insane to consider that if ByuN had that army sieged up, like it was such a just barely, but more than enough situation where that fight came in and cleared out like 3 tanks right away for almost no repercussions.
Yeah. That was one of those games where it's absolutely frustrating. You think they're gonna all in you, which, I mean, herO was quite dedicated pressure, shall we say, and they don't, and you still end up losing. You still end up losing out in the macro game. It's frustrating, but can't say what ByuN could have really done any better. You push out too soon, and without Sim, combat shields +1, and you still die to the army, and you don't feel any better about yourself.
Yeah, it can be a real bad time, but looks like with the zoom-ins happening, we're going to probably be getting into game number 3 here in just a moment. Just swap back to the big screen for y'all.
Hardcore rock in the background.
How about hardcore?
It's hardcore, man. It's not metal.
It's like just rock. You know why they call it metal?
Why?
Because it's harder than rock.
I figured that was the legit reason they called it that. It is like rock and roll is really, in the grand scheme of things, very casual. Although in the 60s it was the devil's music.
What do you think about Nickelback?
I know the correct answer is I don't like it.
That's not where I was going with it, but
but my real answer is sometimes it's fun to sing along to.
Look at this graph!
We haven't been looking at any graphs. These guys don't use the income graphs.
Yeah, they're using the WCS mod, so they should be built into it, but oh well. Bottom right, it's herO.
In the top left, the blue Terran, it is ByuN.
Sweet, awkward, amazing intros. Leo says, anyone that badmouths Nickelback is auto-banned? Yo, anyone that badmouths Nickelback that gets auto-banned? Whisper Rifkin, I'll take care of that shit.
Yeah, right? Is Nickelback Canadian?
Yeah, actually, so I was going to tell you a story. Chad Kroger, or whatever the lead singer was, grew up like 40 minutes from me and went to the other school that wasn't mine.
Cool.
It's something where I've never seen the guy. I don't even know how much he's ever been back to town, like visiting his roots or parents or anything like that. But everybody in my town talks about it because you're like, oh, a famous person came from where I came from.
He had an entire song about visiting his past, Rifkin. Look at this graph. Look at it.
Actually, what kills me is my town. It broke my heart because like everyone was obsessed with Chad Kroger or whatever, right? But actually, there's an actress out there. You guys, if you've seen Silicon Valley or you've seen Sex Drive or a couple of these other movies, Amanda Cruz actually went to my high school, and I met her a couple times even in high school. Super chill, super cool person. So when I found out she became like a pretty big actress, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I can kind of understand that like little bit of pride where you're like, yeah, I knew the person, or I'm from the place that person's from. But for Nickelback,
it's anything for a lot of places. Like I'm not the same age as Sandra Bullock, but she did go to a school that's like 15 minutes away. What would have been the only school in town if I was her age.
Yeah.
Used to be Hick Country. But yeah. And then I had like some girl in high school, she was like 2 years younger than me, had a couple of appearances on like Law and Order. And I never met her, but apparently she thought she was really cool shit. So I didn't really want to meet her.
Dun-dun.
It's like kind of the lamest thing you can really have a guest appearance in. Like to be honest, I don't want to rag on Law and Order too much. It's occasionally good to have in the background. It's not like also watch, but I mean like there's billions of people by now who've had guest appearances.
I feel like Law and Order for me is kind of like the new age Murder She Wrote. Like it's not like necessarily an old person show, but like it's that kind of show.
Yeah, well, NCIS is the real old person show, but I get what you're saying.
Wow, these rumors jumped real quick. Rifkin talked to Amanda about Brood War back in high school.
That did jump forward.
All right, we got a very similar attack, but I would argue an even more deadly version. Normally, you're just worried about the depots going down and this pylon trading out, and that's kind of annoying. But the Zealot and the Adept here means one of these two will get through the wall. In fact, I would say even sacrifice the probe to the Widow Mine and get both the Zealot and the Adept through, and you're just going to win every fight behind it.
Yeah, and he did see the Widow Mine, so he should be using that probe for it. I maybe didn't see it move, otherwise the Zealot could be attacking the reactor too. Just maybe not bothering.
Marines actually focused fire down the probe because I think he knew he was looking for some bait of some variety. But again, the emphasis here is like it's game 3. We didn't really talk about this with the intros, but as the fight commences, there's so much on the line for both of these guys. You know, ByuN on one hand, he's super casual. The guy's got money. He won BlizzCon. What does he care, right? But the thing is, like, he got knocked out of GSL pretty quick. He's got, I guess, forcibly removed from Ting. He doesn't have any big tournaments he's playing for right now.
Mm.
On the other hand, herO's like up and coming like crazy. You know, CJ herO, when he was on CJ and whatever, like I didn't really care. Like he wasn't showing much good games. We didn't think much of him. Joined Root, started playing cheesy, immediately fell in love with this dude. So
yeah, exactly.
They both need wins pretty badly. I would argue ByuN almost though monetarily doesn't need a win, but like yeah, emotionally, like mentally, like I think he needs a win.
Yeah, I agree. Here's more than just the cheese, even though that's what we first saw as his introduction back into the scene. It's an amazing macro as well. And he's gonna have to use it. The aggression was nice. The harassment was nice. I get a Viking. God.
Yeah, so folks are asking about my phrasing there with ByuN. I guess some of you guys weren't here for the big day of drama. TLDR, ByuN not only forfeited, but also got locked out of his house. So even if he didn't forfeit, he wouldn't have been able to play his group. So he was removed from Ting. That wasn't all the drama. It was combination herO and Solar that created the drama. Yeah,
these guys here, plus Solar, made it a little bit awkward. Well, Viking loss aside, not too much damage. SCV, very annoying. Manages to dodge out of the Widow Mines that ByuN has tried to place down as well, which is, every Terran's dream, just to get easy peasy rid of these air units. So and herO's can safely take a third base.
And I want to actually address this. Someone says, like, today I learned herO is up and coming with a facepalm. And don't get me wrong, herO's had a great history, but it, like, fell off in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, it definitely did.
Like, maybe up and coming is the wrong phase. Maybe it's like returning to his rise to fame, or however you want to phrase it. But the point is, like, yeah, herO really he's not been dominant in months, for long periods of months too, and that much is it's whatever. Like, but now we're watching him look so much better than he has in the last few. It's kind of like the resurgence of ryung even. Like ryung, semifinals of GSL right now. The guy couldn't win in an Alima League to save his life for 9 months. Like.
Yeah,
it's cool watching a lot of these players. I'm not sure whether it's patch or play style or what, but they're these guys who you kind of wrote off, didn't care much for, and now are suddenly on the front lines again, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, herO had a lot more highs than ryung did, even though ryung did make it to a semifinals years and years ago. But the idea is the same, where like they both fell off pretty hard for months at a time. Different months, sure, but months at a time, and are now really back in full force. So yeah, maybe like up and coming wasn't the right phrase, but comeback is, and I think I knew what you meant. I think the sentiment was there. People were just.
I mean, they're free to nitpick because it's an interesting topic to discuss, though. It's not about like trying to defend myself and being right versus wrong. But it is, again, like here, people are saying even now, yeah, he did way more in CJ than he's ever done on Root. Yeah, well, he's been on Root for like a day, he's not been on Root for long enough to prove himself yet. But my point is, since joining, he has looked great compared to the last 5 to 6 months we've seen him kind of flounder and flop and do really nothing.
Yeah. The harassment continues the Phoenixes. herO has his third base set up, and he's on his way to +1 to Resident Enclaves. So that is that old style. ByuN wants to try and do something about this third base, at least take a decent trade, but he's got to always be careful. He's gonna be forced to commit against this style. He's gonna be real sure it's gonna work out okay. Combat shields will finish up for the push on the third, but so will +1 Resident Enclaves, and all of hero's production is also done. So it's. Yo, I don't know about herO taking the fight now. Yeah, I think he needs a couple more rounds of Adepts warp in. That was a little scary. Although it would have been before combat shields are done, I still think 8 more Adepts is, safer.
Yeah, combat shields is finishing up here any second, though.
ByuN does have to be kind of keeping off the back of herO, though. Like, this is not a bad army, but too far forward, and that's when herO does pounce on you. When you don't really want to take the fight, it's so close. It's either one of these guys could make a severe mistake by attacking into each other, but I think it's always a little bit more scary for the Terran players nowadays who have really recognized that there is no retreat from this style, so they better have their retreat ready to go, but the engagement is forced. The Woodamines not a part of this fight. herO so far taking a very good one. ByuN really cannot escape.
Yeah, Phoenixes are trying to shoot down the medevacs. So many adepts on the ground. I mean, there's no real getting anything out to fight.
Really bad for ByuN. He wasn't supposed to take the fight. He was supposed to be able to retreat.
But he's also not got. He's got no medevacs in production. He was hoping to just be pumping liberators at this point too. So losing these medevacs is super devastating. I wanna very much emphasize that.
Yeah, he tried to make the best out of it. He tried to focus fire the Phoenixes, make herO feel uncomfortable about chasing. It just didn't work out. His third base is done, but you know, even if that transfers over A-OK and he doesn't lose any workers, he lost a chunk of time here, which is not really going to have good pressure. herO does not have to worry. This is when herO can get his fourth base, get his robo, get to disruptors, you know, swap over his compositions, and you know, when ByuN is finally ready to go with liberators, thinking, okay, liberators will bring back into this game, herO will have answers for it.
Well, I like how much you kind of turtled up on the front door. The problem is, though, by turtling up like this, you are stuck on those two bases for so long. I mean, ByuN's not someone to play scared. He's still going to move that command center out, and he's going to try and take a base. But I think that was a good assessment on his part to realize, like, he couldn't just play Cavalier. He needed some sort of defensive, at least location, if nothing else, to fight. But Revelation tags the army, fully aware of where everything is right now.
Oh man, this forward base is just... It's not a curse. It's not a bad idea. And it's not as extreme as I think it is. Like, there's a lot of bias going in this, but man, it really feels like anytime a Terran takes this is the time they get overwhelmed. Versus Zerg, versus other Terrans, versus Protoss.
I agree.
They're like, oh, it'll be, you know, defense and offense. It'll be great, you know. And then they just get swamped. And it's especially true if they're already getting borderline swamped in a game. So I'm very scared for ByuN. He's going to try and push it. He's going to be slow about it. He's going to be meticulous about his liberator positions. That's all great. But if herO takes a good engagement, his third base is immediately punished.
Well, army supply comes in pretty close to even, and ByuN does have a small upgrade lead. Widowmines in the backside might hit those adepts if they transfer. Only a couple transfer through. I think he was just trying to bait the Widowmine hits. That was cool.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm not sure if ByuN even anticipated that, and that's why he lifted the Widowmines. I think that was just coincidental. He was moving. So it did work out in favor of ByuN there. But this is a very strong army, and he did not push into the fourth base. He pushed into the natural, which I don't think he was expecting. Loses one of his robos. He needs those disruptors. This could be the comeback for ByuN here. This engage is going to be pretty good. Disruptors are supposed to be out. They're supposed to have a lot more time to come out, too. It's supposed to be a slow siege up his fourth base, not a blitz to his natural.
Yeah, and even if that disruptor does pop, and it does, the thing is there's still that robo up that's going to go down. Like, if he focus fires down that robo with 2 Marauders, it's worth it.
I think if he saw that with Revelation, he absolutely would have gone for the Widowmines.
Oh no. Okay, well, the last second split out of here was actually pretty sick. Minimizes the damage taken, and he actually cleans up the Liberators and allows himself to break this positioning.
Oh, I thought that was going to be much more difficult, but herO saved so much of his army. He even saved Robo? Yeah, still building a Disruptor. Didn't think that was going to happen, and ByuN, pretty disappointed with how that fight went on. I think you can tell by the camera. And this is when, oh god, he picks up and medevacs. He has no defense at his third base now. These Liberators, yeah, they're going to be targeted.
SCVs are getting pulled, and this could be it, guys. This is starting to get really out of hand. The snowball effect's real in TvP. Command Center's going to go down. Oh god. Can you even recover from that?
I don't think so. There's still a Mothership Core? Nope. No, well, you can recall, actually. So, maybe not in the main. To overcharge, just recalls back home, and that's ByuN's chances of a pseudo base trade going down the drain.
Yeah.
Base for base, at least.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If ByuN gets knocked out of the individual league, that sucks. But there's a high chance he gets picked to be brought back for somebody's team in the team league.
Yeah, right? Maybe that's what they're discussing. Hey, man, if you win, you gotta invite me to your team.
Well, Stalkers just keep blinking in. It's almost like they're tackling at the Terran army. These Widowmines looking to get some really good shots.
He's gonna bait them. Kind of. He blinked on top of them.
I know, he like blinked some away, but blinked others on top of it. Took their place.
That's game. Oh, okay. So herO does get revenge for the Elite League semifinals. Way to go. There you go. that, but what am I?
Yeah, ByuN's just kind of shrugging it off at this point. Types the GG, and wow. Ladies and gentlemen, herO, congratulations, gets out of the group in second place. But also, I'm waiting for that camera cut to ByuN. Like, what is... Is he still laughing it off? Is he feeling a bit sad now? I mean, he's had weird emotions today.
Maybe they're trying not to, because he's sad.
Maybe, yeah. No, he's not. Yeah, he's not happy. That's clear.
Disappointed.
Well, ByuN seems to be in a bit of a slump with some of these tournaments, some of these events. It's a bit unfortunate, but hopefully with weeklies like the BTSL and the Ulima League and other things cropping up, he should still have a lot to play in. It sucks though, because again, like, okay, maybe SLCL is starting up, and that's the one thing he can really work on, and maybe then focus on. But here, let's get back to our cameras. But that's it. He's knocked out of the VSL. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucks. Group stage can be rough, guys. Group stage can be brutal. I mean, ByuN winning the group was fantastic. Obviously, hype for the BaseTradeTV fans because, again, if anyone hasn't heard this somehow at this point, ByuN's tweeted it. We've tweeted it. There's been Reddit posts. There's been Team Liquid posts. Somebody even featured it in the news section. We are officially sponsoring ByuN on this brand new team, Team LFT, Team Looking for Team. We're specifically working with them for 30 days to try and help them get a better team at the end of 90 days would be the end goal. But what's funny is our pickup of him has drawn enough attention that we already had what was originally just one, but now like officially 2 team owners contact me basically asking like, so is ByuN, is he like off the market? Like what's going on with you guys and him? Like, so I'm hoping that between results like this and our constant coverage of him and big stream that we have, we can help advertise to get him a good team and have somebody that can afford to pay him a better salary than we can afford to pay him.
Yep.
But that's going to wrap up the cast, guys. So, yeah, there's a quick look at the brackets, the results for anyone who's just tuning in. Here you go. Spoilerinos. Really nice day for ByuN. That's for certain.
Yeah. And herO getting our revenge on ByuN. It was a tough group anyway. It was ByuN and herO take him out in the decider.
I mean, again, I feel a little bit bad because we all kind of wrote off Creator, but this was a really tough group for sure. Some of those players in Korea. But tomorrow, as they're showing now, Rogue Bunny Classic Solar. We are probably going to be back to cast that, if not Maynard. We'll go coordinate, because if you guys didn't hear, by the way, thank you. Who is that? Ghillie Suit Bebop? Ghillie Suit Bebop. Maynard's going to be casting some of this, or at least every Friday in April. He'll be casting with another person who's yet to be announced. That's not myself or Zombie Grub. But yeah, we still have to sort out what's going on for the rest of this month. We got to shuffle things around. So I really don't know. Tomorrow's either going to be the BTSL monthly finals, or we'll move it off to the next day and cast VSL. It's tough. There's a lot going on. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Follow the channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitters. I'm at Riff_Kings. She's at ZG Gaming. Channel's just at BaseTradeTV.
Yep.
Any shout outs before you go, Zombie Grub?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch and YouTube. Zombie Grub. Thanks, guys.
I'm not sure if I picked my nose on stream or who's been called out, but guys, I would be so embarrassed. So I just kept picking my nose on stream. It'd be really gross. I hope nobody.
I don't think any of us did.
I think they're talking about the
put
guy.
One hand on the mouse and one hand on this cat right here.
Anyways, have a good night. Have a good day wherever you are. What's the next cast for us though before we take off?
Well, you just kind of went over how confused we are, so.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the BTSL. I would definitely say keep an eye on Twitter, guys, because that's where we're going to be updating about what's going on. Thank you, Tom KD, for linking the Mega Tournament in chat. Also, I keep forgetting to do my Patreons, so if any of my Patreons are watching, please know I love you and I'll get better at this. But Marcos threw $25 into the Mega Fundraiser, saying, here's my monthly payment, Ace Kate. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. But yeah, we'll quit wasting your time. We'll end the stream here with a couple of commercials. I hope you'll stick around to watch them. If not, enjoy whoever we end up hosting, and have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.